Hi everybody, welcome to another top 5 video, and today we have the top 5 CCW carry revolvers, and we're also going to discuss ammunition, the best training ammunition, the best carry ammunition, and so let's go through the top 5. And if anybody says, oh my god, you'll get killed in the streets with one of those antiquated things after only 6 shots, well, you draw the backup gun and it helps you deal with everyday life. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the best pocket holsters. So let's get going. All right, guys, so here is 2025's top 5 CCW carry revolvers by Dan the Wolfman. And so we'll go over the revolvers, we'll go over training ammunition, we'll go over carry ammunition, we'll go a little bit over holsters, just what I grabbed on hand. I do have a full revolver holsters video that you should check out. Very thorough. I did last Christmas, which is like 30 minutes, but covers all kinds of options, okay? But anyway, let's get with the very first snub revolver ever made, and that is this beautiful Colt Detective Special. The first series Colt Detective Special was the very first snub nose or 2-inch revolver in 1927. This is a third series here, which started in 1973 in nickel or chrome, if you will. So we got a nickel Colt Detective Special here, 6-shot, 38 special, steel frame, with the wood grips about 21 ounces. This now, I've got it all jacked up because I wanted to keep those nice and do a little experimentation. With a Brahmi hip grip and racquetball tape, I'm over 24 ounces now, but it makes it a much thicker grip if you need that. And the Brahmi hip grip, you can put there, like Undercover cops did in the 70s, just throw it on your jeans, throw it over the belts best, or even, non-permissive environments, get a little more creative, things like that. I have carried it on my jeans over the belt in Walmart before when I first did these grips this way. And 6-shot over the J was the original snub. A lot of people gravitate towards J frames, but I have pretty large XL hands. Never been a huge fan of most J frames. The new grips on the Ultimate Carry help, but for just a very slightly thicker cylinder, I can get that 6-shot of 38 special. We'll talk more about Plus P later. Do I worry? No, not in the steel frame anyway. Now, Colt Agents and Colt Cobras came later, I think in the third series, but this will handle at least somewhere between 1,000 and 3,000 rounds of Plus P. Pretty fine being the steel frame. Colt originally said, like, after so many, send it back to get checked out, retightened, spec'd out, and all of that. But number one on the list is the original, the Colt Detective Special. And look at my other top 5 list. Maybe you'll see some other stuff. This one here, and all the revolvers fit really well in here. This is a Don Hume outside waistband, leather holster, again, Don Hume, and they all fit great in here because this is an odd size. This is for a 3.1-inch Ruger SP-101. And all the ones I'm going to show you today fit really good in here. And a lot of them, people go, well, I don't know what size holster it's going to fit. So there is the Colt Detective Special. We'll lay that over there for now. Okay, next up on the list, and they've all been quadruple checked empty. Here is the Charter Arms Undercover 2 Electric Boogaloo style, since this one is the all blinged out edition, which I really like. You know what? Let's go back, since in that I got this safe snap from the Zeta 6. That yellow disc tells you it's empty and you can dry fire safely. Double action trigger pull on the Colts versus the nice Smith & Wessons back in the day do stack at the end or stage. So there, now you can make a better kind of accurate shot, say if you were 12 yards or past that way without cocking the single action, because getting cocky isn't a good thing, and NYPD eventually said that. But it's not a bad trigger pull. It just kind of, you feel it there. Some people like that better, some don't. So there. Now let's go back to the Charter Arms Undercover 2. So the UC2, they've, and also called the Police, basically this size with the 6-shot cylinder, Charter Arms, Police, I'm sorry. So they've made this size for a long time. Now, it's really shiny. It's only about 16 ounces. Here with these grips, about 17 and a half, a little under 18 ounces. Handles recoil really well. One thing I do love about the Charter Arms is the wider trough, the wider tunnel to see your front sight. Here, of course, we got the fiber optic, and as I'm getting older, that might really help. Now, it came with some nice but very thin grips that are probably better for a dainty woman's hands. Very pretty pearl grips from Premium Grips. But here, we got custom wolf grips. Dan the Wolfman coming at you with custom wolf grips. Go to customwolfgrips.com and you will see a lot of pictures and look at my videos and ballistics tests. Not all of them, but quite a lot of them, different pages there. Look at ballistics tests, point of aim, point of impact to learn more about ammo selection for your carry revolver. This is a 38 special. The Undercover 2 from Charter Arms and Custom Wolf Grips from customwolfgrips.com or premiumgrips.com. Go to Dan the Wolfman's Custom. There you'll see it. Premium grips, really nice checkered rosewood. I like these because this is basically 2.5 finger, and I have large hands, so about 2.5 finger, still concealable for me. I'm a big guy, but better recoil control than little 2-finger boot grips. All right, let's lay that one there. Next on our list, and you can throw these things in, cheap holsters and whatnot inside waistband or appendix style. That kind of works. Let me just show you here how well this Charter Arms fits in this Don Hume Ruger SP-101 holster. Okay, next up is the Taurus 856 Ultralite. So this thing's only 16 ounces with the custom wolf grips there. You can see the wolf head there. About 16.8, I think it is. 38 special. I like the Ultralite for pocket carry if you're recoil sensitive or it's going to be a belt line gun. You might want the steel. That's my opinion. But in the pocket, it's nice to have this nice little Ultralite. 6-shot, 38 special, plus P. And you know what? Other than that front ramp sight, the Taurus 856 are literally like almost exactly spec for spec, width, height, measurements, everything with the original snub, the Colt Detective Special. And again, just about the size of a J-frame, just very slightly, people don't realize it, wider cylinder for that 6 and possibly very important 6-shot when you're talking the low round count of revolvers. Of course, you saw me using it as a backup gun, which is how I roll with this bad boy in the summer in this A-holster backbone for these cutouts. That makes it really hide really well. I got a full video on the A-holster pocket holster. Probably the best, most reliable pocket draw because you don't have to pull up and out. Whether you pull straight up, this lip will catch it. If you go up and back like you would with maybe like some DeSantis or cloth pocket holsters, that will grip it. So look at my full review of that. Let's look at the trigger pull of this. It came really good. I mean, that is a really, really good double action trigger pull. Good single action, not too light. Some single actions are almost too light, but you shouldn't be cocking unless you're really elderly disabled or something. You really shouldn't be cocking. Bad things can happen when you do such. So don't get cocky. But I like it in this green frame, which also helps differentiate from the front sight. Now, I did put on the Access dot night sight on this, and so this one's going to serve me really well for a long time. Nice checkering there, good control. I use this grip for revolvers, by the way, because you might do a couple shots one-handed in a real defensive gun use, and then the second hand comes in support hand when it's done fighting or pushing my wife out of the way, and I like to wrap over like that. The Taurus 856, they're just moving all around, aren't they? Taurus 856. Okay, next up, we have another Charter Arms we have another Charter Arms, but this one is in a 40. Look at my range review of this and using a bunch of different ammo and hollow points at the end. The Pitbull 40. 2.3-inch barrel. I'm sorry, everything so far was a 2-inch barrel. No, I'm sorry. This has a 2.2-inch barrel, so maybe a little bit better ballistics. And Charter does usually have tight tolerances and get high velocity. Also, I think it's 8 groove barrels that they have, gets a little bit higher velocity. We got the Charter Arms Pitbull here, which is available on 940 in this frame and in a bigger frame, 45 ACP. No moon clips required in any of them because I got this patented little lip extractor system. And it comes with the like kind of hard rubber synthetic grips. But of course, we put on the Dan the Wolfman's custom wolf grips right there, available at Premium Grips and customwolfgrips.com to look at more pictures and videos and all that and learn more about the ammunition. Look at my pages there. I love this because it has a 2.3-inch barrel and the ballistics are friggin' insane. It's 5 shot, but with 40, I'm getting 400 maybe 430 foot-pounds of energy with a round we'll get to in a little bit. Now, this one is carried in the wintertime and or maybe armed security jobs in the weak side front pocket in this Mika's pocket holster, which is my other favorite pocket holster. It stays open, it doesn't collapse, so if you need to quickly reholster after a defensive gun use, you can just throw it in and it's going to find its way in. He was LAPD, his brother was famous LAPD SWAT, and a nice guy to talk to, and I talked to him a few years ago. So there is the Pitbull 40, because 40 power is really awesome, and yet I believe this has less recoil than most 357 snubs while getting better terminal ballistics and not just oxidation and blast. This is 21 ounces, about 21 and a half, I think, with these wood grips. And that one also fits really well in this SP101. I also like Houston holsters. My revolver holsters out in the car right now. But I got a Houston revolver 3-inch for the next one coming up. But surprisingly, don't sleep on getting yourself an SP101 holster, at least this one. You might want to check that out. Okay, last but not least, coming up in the Harry's holster here, the Rossi RP 63. Dan Wolfman has more Rossi RP 63 videos than anyone else on the internet. Look up Dan the Wolfman RP 63 and look at my Paul Harrell tribute playlist. Paul Harrell tribute playlist for all my revolver range reviews, not necessarily all the tabletops. But this is a 6-shot 357 Magnum with a 3-inch barrel for good ballistics, 27 ounces. I put these grips from Premium Grips. By now, you should be able to order these grips with the engraved wolf logo. Custom wolf grips at Premium Grips. On this one, checkered rosewood pearl tip. And this one's, well, been cleaned up a little bit. Got a little modded with a front night sight. Triggers ridiculously smooth. And this bad boy is pretty awesome. I didn't give you trigger pulls on the Pitbull. My apologies. We're going to check again. And there we go. All the Charter Arms have very nice, smooth, functioning, double action trigger pulls. This tunnel, some will be shaved down. This one wasn't. Luckily, I added the orange nail polish, and I use it kind of like a quick reaction, close range mostly. Kind of like a big dot you would dot the eye. And that works out really, really well. And there's the Rossi RP 63. Okay, so just briefly, we will talk about ammunition selection, guys. And so for my training ammo in the 38 special, and of course, 357 Magnum revolvers can use 38 plus P, 38 special as well, long and short as well, whatever. But for training ammunition, I like PPU, and I like Federal. 130 grain, lower grain weight, usually hits a little lower to the sights. Like this one, these hit to these sights because I changed out the night sight, but 158s like these lead hollow point old school rounds will hit a little high in this particular revolver. So you need to check your revolver's point of aim, point of impact with various ammo. Most of them throughout history, it started with 158 grain, so most of them hits 158s. Though some newer stuff, surprisingly, this thing's like dead on with either the 158 plus P, so I can get used to the recoil I would have in my carry hollow points from Blazer. If I need lower point, I only have this rest of this box, so I'm saving this for the Rossi's that hit lower with the night sight with this 130 grain. So that's good training ammo for your 38 special revolvers. Now, if you're elderly, disabled, new, smaller statured, female, whatever, and you need lower recoil, you got rheumatoid arthritis, you got lupus, autoimmune disease, things like that, hand damage, you might want lower recoil. So for both training and possibly for defense, I've got a water jug ballistics test on this. I sent this to Gun Sam. Just did a test on plated wad cutters versus lead wad cutters. This will do just fine on anything that's biped and in smaller four-legged animals, dogs, coyotes, bobcats, etc. That is an option. Doesn't do as much damage as the hollow point, but it goes deep. And a thinner wound track still does good stuff. Now, look at my modern meat target and Dan the Wolfman ballistics test. Search Dan the Wolfman ballistics test. Again, look at the Paul Harrell tribute playlist. My favorite carry ammo and the best in the world now, in my opinion, for 38 special, for 380, and now for 32 ACP, and even just in a couple days will be announced the 32 H&R Magnum Hydra Shock Deep. For those lower powered calibers, Hydra Shock Deep's the best designed to expand reliably and get full deep penetration to get to the organs. If you can't afford or find the Hydra Shock Deep, I also tested the Federal Punch 38 Special versus the 40 165 grain, so 120 plus P versus 165 in the 40 in the Taurus 856, I believe it was, and in the Pitbull 40. And I was surprised, actually, that it expanded as well as it did from the 2-inch 856. So those are your best carry rounds, in my opinion, for 38 Special. These Precision 1 plated wad cutters that go deep. Nice, low recoil, very accurate. I'm going to say that is a very good choice as well. You could always go with some old school, originally called the St. Louis load or the FBI load. It's a lead hollow point semi-wad cutter hollow point. So it's 158 grain semi-wad cutter hollow point. I tested it from both 2 and 3-inch barrels. Gun Sam's about to test it from a 3-inch barrel as well. 3-inch, I'm sure it does pretty good. 4-inch, it was known as a spectacular man stopper. I would not recommend it for shorter than 2-inch, shorter than 3-inch snubs. So 3-inch or longer on these old school bad boys. And maybe Sam will test through like a steel car auto body door. Of course, stuff like this doesn't go through steel or windshields as well as a modern hollow point like Hydra Shock Deep that Gun Sam did test through a windshield. Now in 40, the best rounds for carry are either the 180 grain HST or a little bit cheaper, the 165 grain Punch. You can find Punch in big box stores. I tested it, hit where I needed to, point of aim, point of impact. I like it in the Pitbull, so that is my carry round. Basically, the head guy, Chris Locke at Federal, said the 180 should do just fine from this barrel too, because basically getting G27, Glock 27 velocity and expansion. So we know that the 180 would probably be good, do good, but just for extra safety's sake, I went with this faster velocity 165 plus as a backup gun shoved into a potential contact wound. I think this higher velocity and bigger bullet is actually going to do better than the 357 snubs that have less than a 2.5-inch barrel out there in the world. So also good carry ammo for 357. Training and or woods defense. I just saw the video Gun Sam did. I sent him this PPU Defense Line 158 grain. Now, in the lower states, this is not my choice for biped defense in the city. Though you'll get some over penetration, though you do get some good mild expansion. But if you're in Alaska or Montana, Wyoming, something like that, worried about both human and four-legged defense, this will probably do pretty good. And also as a decent heavy recoil, pretty good fast velocity. Gun Sam got a 1,280 feet per second average out of a 4-inch Smith & Wesson. So that's pretty good to go. Now, for biped defense here in the South where I live, I'm going with these old school Federal Train and Protect. This is the most effective 50-round box of ammo you could buy. It's, I think, the same bullets as the vaunted best man stopper ever, the 357B load, just slightly less velocity. But I actually got the same exact results out of a 3-inch Rossi RP 63 that the FBI did back in 89, I think, or 90, the data I have from their 3-inch M13s. So old school load. Now, it's a lot to handle in the wood grips. I will admit it is very full power. Now, a 36 ounce revolver, no problem. 27 ounces with wood, problem. With rubber, not a problem. To have good, fast recoil control, fast split times, etc. So there you guys go with my 2025 top 5 CCW carry revolvers. Please thumbs up, share, subscribe. Please get down in the comments. Let me know which of these is your favorite. Which one would you pick to have and or carry? And if you are carrying a snub or two, like I recommend, what are you carrying and what ammo are you carrying in it? Let me know down below. Thanks, everybody. Kaboom.